Okay, so I think we've got everybody let in now. I've got some echo coming back. So, that's stopped now. So that's good. If people could stay on mute, that would be great. So good afternoon. Welcome to members of the public who've joined us this afternoon. My name is Caroline Trevithick. I'm the Deputy Chief Executive from the Leicestershire and Rutland Clinical Commissioning Groups, and I'm also the Chief Nurse for the CCGs. We've got with us on the call today Rebecca College, who is Service Manager and mental health coach for mental health services for older people from Leicester Partnership Trust, and Kelly Fenton, clinical psychologist for Leicestership Partnership Trust, Sue Venables, head of engagement and insights from the CCGs, and we've got Louise O'Reilly, communications manager from Leicestershire Partnership Trust as well. We've got a few people behind the scenes who are running the slides and everything, but just wanted to say welcome from us, from the NHS, to you from the public, and really good to see you this afternoon. Well, we're going to work through some information with you regarding the mental health services that we're consulting on. We just wanted to say, if you need any support for your mental health and well-being, just a reminder where you can access it, because I think it's really important for people attending these sessions that we put some signposting information up as well. So you should be able to see on the screen there that we've got some information, and hopefully if you need it, you'll be able to access it through those numbers or the website. And what we're going to do this afternoon, we've got a video to show you about the services that we want to talk to you about, and then we've got opportunity for you to ask us questions after that. So I think we're going to go straight into the interview. Into the video. And then we'll take it from there. Is that okay? Great, thank you.
We have a significant opportunity right now to enhance the quality of people's lives by investing in mental health services provided in Leicester, Leicestershire and Rutland. Our mental health heavily influences our whole health and well-being, and it's as important as our physical health. We at the NHS recognise this and are investing more in local services to dramatically improve care and treatment. We want to help everyone living locally to thrive and live the life they want. We've been working with individuals for some time now to really understand what they want in their mental health services. We've worked with people who've experienced our services, staff and stakeholders to develop key proposals that we want your views on. Our plan covers two key areas: investing in and improving services for people when their need is urgent and when they need planned care and treatment.
How can we make sure that we use our resources and our investment for the best needs of the whole population, and that we structure our services to meet service users' needs and carers' needs in the best possible way? We think we've done lots of good things around that, but we think we've got lots of ideas within this consultation that will make it stronger and a better service for people, and a more integrated service for people, an easier service to navigate, and there'll be better outcomes for people and their families.
When the need is urgent, people said they wanted an easier way of getting help at any time of the day or night, and they wanted to get this help quickly and directly. This feedback underpins our proposals for change. We want to deliver better advice and guidance, so when people are first looking for support or even just information, they can find it all in one place online. When individuals need more help or are in a crisis, we recognise it's important there's a place they can contact 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, by phone or text. We want to introduce a new central access point for people so they can do this.
patients have been able to call us directly if they were struggling without having to attend A&E. So therefore that's actually reduced the number of people going to A&E that could have access to mental health services without any other service having to refer them.
An important aspect of the central access point is the crisis service. This means people can get help directly without contacting their GP and get an assessment within 4 hours if the need is urgent, and within 24 if it's less urgent. Crisis cafes also offer urgent help. We have 3 already, and they provide a safe space for people to get help when they're experiencing a crisis. We want to increase the number to 25 and are asking where people want them located and what services they could provide.
The Crisis Cafe is a really important part of what we do to support people in the community with mental health issues. It's somewhere they can come where it's safe, it's a welcoming environment, and we help them in terms of looking at what is causing the problems. It may well be that there's a financial issue, the relationship issue, it may well be it's a mental health issue itself that's the problem, but a lot of the time people actually just need someone to talk through their issues, get the help that they need and meet other people.
We want to increase the mental health support in emergency services to better support individuals when incidents occur. We're proposing to expand our existing triage car service to work longer hours and cover both police and ambulance services. During the pandemic, we quickly set up the Mental Health Urgent Care Hub to provide more targeted support away from the emergency department. It's a space the emergency services, social care or other health professionals can refer into and offers people a rapid assessment and support. Through our proposals, we're looking to make the changes permanent. When people experience ill mental health, they may go to the hospital's emergency department for help. There's now extra expertise there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week in the emergency department. This is called the Acute Mental Health Liaison Service. It also helps people who are already on a hospital ward. Finally, there are individuals who are particularly vulnerable, who need mental health support urgently, but for various reasons don't access it. There are currently 3 teams working with vulnerable groups, including homeless people and individuals that present in the criminal justice system. We propose to bring these teams together into one dedicated service to help more vulnerable people access the care they need. So to improve mental health care for people who need urgent help, we want to provide self-help and guidance, further develop the central access point, create more and strengthen the role of crisis cafes and improve crisis services, expand the use of the triage cafe, introduce permanently a mental health urgent care hub and an acute mental health liaison service, join up services that support particularly vulnerable groups of individuals with mental health needs that do not access the support they need. The second key area is improving planned care and treatment. People told us they wanted as much care as possible to be provided near to where they live and be organised around their needs and the needs of their local community. We've listened to this feedback and developed the following proposals. We have a number of teams working separately, with some work being duplicated or triplicated, and long waits as people are passed between different teams. We want to bring these together into 8 new community treatment and recovery teams, working in local areas to support adults. They would work alongside an additional 8 teams who would focus on specific mental health needs of older people. These local teams would be supported, if needed, by other experts to provide more focused support. This includes help for women pre- and post-birth, and for people with complex personality disorder, also those with early signs of psychosis, difficulties with memory, and for individuals that have complex needs who will benefit from community-based mental health rehabilitation to support their recovery needs. So our plans are to work with local communities to provide better planned care and treatment, reduce waiting times for treatment and join up services to create a local seamless experience, improve support for individuals with personality disorder, improve services for people of work age and older people, expand perinatal services for the time immediately before and after birth, and develop a maternal outreach service. improve the experience for people with potential psychosis, reduce the wait for a diagnosis of dementia, and provide rehabilitation support to help people recover from complex psychosis.
This is a once-in-a-generation opportunity for us to deliver the mental health services that people in Leicester, Leicestershire and Rutland truly deserve. Please take your time to have your say, whether you've used our services now or in the past, or simply know somebody that needs or relies on mental health services. We want to know what you think. Visit our website, complete a questionnaire and help make a difference. Step up to great mental health today.
Thank you, Joe, for that. That's the end of the video, and we've got now opportunity to hear some of your comments or answer some of your questions. And I'm trying to keep an eye on the chat as well, so just making sure that we've got everyone. So we've got a very specific question from MB there, and regarding your daughter and her unfortunate experiences in school, and what we think is the first place that you ought to go is your GP, because your GP will be able to have that conversation and make sure that you get signposted or referred as appropriate for your daughter. So hopefully that's the right place to start. It's very difficult to answer specifics, I'm afraid. Is there anything else anybody wants to say about what they've heard on the video, or ask us questions? There's a lot of information on the video there about the services that we want to improve, and some very specific bits of information about crisis and planned care, etc. So has anybody got any questions or any comments any of my colleagues would like to say? Some of those services we've got in place already, haven't we? Oh, right, okay. And we are just thinking about and we're looking to extend them. So we've got experience of some of those anyway. I've got a message in the chat from Chris Richards. You represent a local charity helping autistic and other neurodiverse individuals. It's going to move in a minute. Your tracking software has revealed problems long before they would normally come to your attention. So you should be looking to actively involve the voluntary care sector. I think that's really, really good feedback there, Chris. Thank you. And I know that the wider mental health conversations that we're having are definitely looking to engage the voluntary care sector. And I don't know whether anyone else wants to comment on that, but we will definitely take that back. Sue?
Yeah, I can come in there. Yeah, I think you're absolutely right in what you're saying, Chris, and to take that on board as part of the consultation, we have actually directly sort of contracted with just over 30 voluntary and community organisations, a combination really, some who are specialists in the field of mental health and have a long history and also expertise in engaging with their service users, and they are helping us to have those conversations with the service users. And they're also guiding us into how we implement the consultation. But also we're working with a range of charities who represent those people with protected characteristics. And obviously that is a broad range of communities, right from travelling communities, homeless, LGBT+, a whole raft of organisations. Of course, not all organisations are in a position to help us to that extent, but we've actually got a database that we use, that we're in constant contact, vast majority are voluntary and community organisations or social enterprise organisations who are doing some fantastic work right in communities. And also indeed with organisations like parish councils and district councils, etc. So absolutely take on your point, it's essential, and that's what we're doing, but we're learning all the time. So, you know, if there's any guidance, anybody that you'd want to direct us to, then we'd be only too pleased to have a conversation.
Thank you, Sue. And Chris, a really important point that you've put in the chat again about uncovering cases of grooming and self-harm. From a safeguarding perspective, any opportunity we've got to protect vulnerable children and young adults, really important that we maximise our opportunity. So yes, thank you for that. I just a point just reassure people that the recording will be available for people afterwards. So if people haven't been able to come on to the session today, it'll be on our website. Question about the mental health awareness cafes and where they're set up. Rebecca, would you like to come in and answer that one?
Yeah, so at the moment we've got 3 cafes. The one in the video was in Loughborough, and there's one in the city. I think, you know, recognising that there is only 3 at the moment, and they have been a very well used resource, and I think that's why one of the proposals is that this is increased to a total of 25, so that actually it covers all of the primary care network areas. So I think it's recognised that a great resource but needs to be expanded at the moment, which is one of the proposals.
Thank you, Rebecca, for that. We've got another question in the chat from Richard Jaramba. Do we not lose coverage when services are combined? And how do we plan to cover the hard to reach people and communities? Another important question, because we know that people in hard to reach communities are hard to reach. You know, that's why we've called them that, but they shouldn't be hard to reach. We should be able to reach into those. One of the reasons that we're looking to set up so many of the cafes is to put them at neighbourhood level, so they are spread around the county. But I'm not sure if any of my other colleagues want to come in specifically on some of the work that we're doing to reach into communities.
Yeah, I think one of the strengths with this kind of proposal is that we will be moving care to people, directly to people's communities, so people should be able to get care and support within their actual neighbourhoods, and all neighbourhoods across Leicestershire, Leicester and Rutland, you know, they're all different areas, and we're going to have specialist understanding of those local areas, so hopefully we'll be able to understand the needs of people from that specific area and start to work towards providing appropriate and timely services for people in those locations.
Thank you for that, Kelly. And I think in terms of the feedback, it's important that we hear that if we're not getting into those communities where you think that we need to get into. That's why we need these conversations with people from the members of the public and members from those local communities, because it's from you that we learn. So that's really good. And so if you think we can do better, please let us know. The question there from, it's OPPO fine ×2. So apologies that I'm not using your name, but that's what's come up on the system. So you're from Epilepsy Action, a charity, and people coming with mental health issues attending your coffee and chat group. So great to learn if you can help if possible. Joe's put in the chat the website. She's responded to Chris, but I think from Epilepsy Action's perspective, if you can do the same and get in touch with us through our website, that would be great, and we can have further conversations with you about how we can engage with you in a different way, in the way that Sue was describing earlier around the voluntary care sector. That's good, thank you. Right, okay, things are still coming in. That's from Sue. Where in Loughborough are the cafes based? We've got an answer there from the Emporium in Loughborough and St Martin's House in Leicester. As we say, you know, we've only got a few at the moment, but our intention is to increase those, and that's what we're consulting on. And I think they've been really popular so far. Have we got any other comments from members of the public about what they've heard on the video, or anything particular that your experiences of our mental health services? I feel like I'm talking to do raise your hand, Sue. Yes, so if you've got a question, you can use at the bottom of your screen. There's the opportunity to raise your hand. Joe's just demonstrated. Oh no, that's a different Joe. So Joanne Lowe, you want to come in with a question? Great.
Yeah. Hi there, everyone. The reason I've come along today is because I've recently been through quite a large crisis, and my experience of the mental health services in Leicestershire was actually really bad. So I don't know really, I don't know what kind of feedback to give, whether or not I go through what my thoughts and opinions are of what I experienced, or what I would hope for other people to get in the future. I don't know kind of which stance to have.
So Joe, you might want to do both, because it's always really helpful for us to hear when we've got it wrong. So you might want to share that with us so that we can look where we need to learn, but also your views on how it could have been better for you as an individual.
Sure.
You might not want to do it in this open forum, but using it through the website, or there's a phone number that you can use to talk to somebody about it.
Yeah, I went through my GP. I may divulge kind of what the crisis was, but I went through my GP, and they signposted me onto some kind of, I can't remember what it was called. It was some kind of on telephone kind of counselling, like a talking shop.
Yes, yeah. So it's gone completely out of my mind.
Yeah, it's gone out of my head as well.
It's the IAP service. What's it called? What's the name of it?
Psychological therapies.
Yes, psychological therapies, but it's got a local name.
Let's talk well-being.
Oh, well, let's talk well-being. Thank you very much. Yes.
So I waited a long time for that to get actioned. And then I remember specifically, they used to call me at kind of really weird times of the day. So I remember distinctly being at my children's swimming lesson on a Sunday morning and then phoning me, you know, so that kind of didn't work. I never actually got around to sitting down with them to talk through things. And then they actually disbanded kind of their contact with me. Admittedly, there was a couple of times where they did try to phone me and I wasn't available, like I said. But quite a curt kind of sort of, we've tried a number of times to sort of speak to you, we're now going to tell your GP that we can't contact you, or something along the lines of. So that's kind of where it's been sort of severed, to be honest. And I did try to contact the central access point twice and it just rang out. It just was very, very difficult.
Yeah, and I'm really sorry to hear that you've had those experiences. It's not the experience that we would want to have for any of our patients in Leicestershire.
The first time in my whole life I tried Samaritans, couldn't get through to them. So I just hope that you're not painting a picture that it's working at the minute, because it's not. For me, you know, my experience.
Yeah, and I think that this is definitely what's behind the work that we're doing here, because we know it isn't meeting the needs of everybody. And so we want to change it, we want to improve it.
Sure.
You know, kind of our strap line is stepping up to great mental health, and that's what we is our intention.
Yeah.
But Rebecca, you wanted to talk about the CAP. Do you want to come in there?
I can do, yes, thank you. I mean, I think, you know, you're absolutely right. We're quite new with the CAP. The CAP was set up as part of our response to COVID, so that we could have a 24-hour a day, 7-day-a-week line for patients to refer and to have to access the help that you need. And I think, you know, it's absolutely fair to say it's work in progress, and in this, as part of this, it's work that we need to look at to improve that. And I think it's had some very positive feedback, but I think we're not there yet. So I think, Joanne, your comments are really, really helpful, and I think it's this sort of feedback that really feeds into, you know, what we need to change to make it work better for people like yourself. You know, we recognise that some of the calls are not getting answered, and we're, you know, recruiting as well. So, you know, I think you never sort of know how many calls you will get, but I think the fact that you can access that yourself is really, really important. So, you know, I think that's really valuable, and like Caroline said, you know, that detailed feedback that you can give is really helpful if you want to do that as well. Would be fantastic. So thank you for that.
I just don't know where to go forward now. I mean, my crisis was my little boy was diagnosed with leukemia last year. So it's massive. And I need help. Yeah,
definitely. I'm sorry to hear that, Joanne. That sounds a really difficult experience for you. But I would definitely go through CAP, because as it talks about in the video, it is about sort of trying to signpost you to the right service. And I am aware from an improving access to psychological therapies, which it sounds like that's where you were to start with. That's sort of changed now in the sense of who provides that. So actually that's sort of building in as a new service as well. So, but I do think CAP is the place where we ask people to come so that you can be signposted in the right way. And that's what I think you would do. And hopefully if you've got the number there, you've obviously rang it before, that would be what I would suggest to do.
The hospital psychiatrist at the hospital my little boy's at actually introduced me to Central Point of Access. It wasn't my doctor. I've got to say my doctor was quite closed to mental health. He wasn't very warm about it. I had to kind of stand my ground a little bit to get access to the online telephone service. So I think that's another barrier as well, that doctors can be more sympathetic. You know, this is all very new to me, you know, this mental health side of things. And he was kind of quite, what's the word? I don't want to sound rude, but he was quite hard to talk to about it. You know, I kind of wanted to say that doctors need to be on board, and the information needs to be feeding through to people like myself who just wouldn't know about these things otherwise. But these crisis cafes, they sound great. You know, I'd probably use those moving forward, but I wouldn't want them to be cliquey. I wouldn't want them to be, and I certainly wouldn't want to turn up and there'd not be anyone to talk to. It's got to be handled really carefully, because I am one of those people who would really, it'd be great.
Thanks, Joanne. Thanks for that feedback. I've put the Central Point of Access number in the chat, but it sounds like you've got that anyway. And also there's a link in the chat there for the group, the CBT run by Vita group, and that's you can self-refer onto that. And I think that's probably something that we probably need to advertise more for the local population, that unfortunately, if people experience the same experience as you've had with your GP, knowing where to get to, and finding more information through our online services should be something that we should focus on. Having said that, working with our GP colleagues to improve their response to people who are presenting with mental health concerns and mental health issues is also something that is very important to us as a local health community. So thank you so much for sharing that, and do hope that you get some support. But that central point of access number is definitely the one to focus on.
Yeah, thanks for listening, everyone. Anyway, thanks a lot.
No, thank you for coming and sharing.
Thank you.
Okay, we don't have any more questions or comments in the chat. Louise or Rebecca, is there any, or Kelly, is there anything you wanted to add to the conversation that we've had so far?
Does Richard have his hand up? Do you need to ask a question, Richard?
Yes, I do.
Thank you, Richard.
Very interesting conversation there, and I would really want to hear your conclusion to that. I represent parents with kids with special needs within the city, and within the consultation, my concern would be on mental health concerns to kids with additional needs. So also, in that case, talking about kids within the schools, are you going to be doing any programs that are specifically targeted to special schools within the city? And what will you be offering? And then also on the other one is, maybe by my accent, you can tell that I have an African background. So the community actions in terms of mental health, because I think there's a lot of education that needs to be had across the city, but also in that sense as well, we in my community, in the African community, a lot of us have been key workers within the pandemic, and that itself has got its own scars that are there to be dealt with. I think there's a great deal of input that is needed, first of all, to make sure that you have enough health staff covering the wards at any time. I'll leave those two questions to you first.
Thank you for that.
Is it 2 or 3? I don't know.
Thank you for that really, really important question. So the first one, your first question was, are we doing anything specific for children in Leicester City? Rebecca or Kelly, do you want to come back on that, Rebecca?
Yeah, I can do. I mean, obviously this consultation is around adult services and older person services, but I think we do recognise that there are those transitions for us of younger people, and I think there is definitely investment going into children and younger person services around crisis and therapy and support for schools. And I think, that working hand in hand with teachers, I think that's definitely part of it. And as I say, whilst we recognise this is about adult services, I think, it's not that we're not, as part of this work that we're doing, not going to work with our younger person services. So we do work directly with our child and adolescent mental health services and family and young people. So it's a very broad answer. There is definitely investment and work going in. And as I say, that will dovetail into what we're trying to do as well, to work alongside them. But yeah, Kelly, I don't know whether you wanted to add anything to that, did you?
No, I think you've said it there. So we're focusing obviously on the adult side of the service today, but there's definitely investment going in, as you said, to children's services, which is part of our trust, the wider trust.
Thank you both. And the question, Richard, you were asking about making sure that we've got the right levels of staffing on the wards, and I think you're focusing that on a safety perspective to ensure that we've got the ability to care for people. So a lot of work around increasing staffing to ensure that we've got safe staffing levels. It's an ongoing challenge across nursing and other therapy staff in the hospital, and some of the work that we're focusing on here is to try and keep people out of hospital, as it's important. You know, we don't want people to end up in such a poor mental health state that they're having to be admitted to a hospital. We would prefer to keep them at home where they're in the environment that they know, and so don't escalate into needing hospitalisation. But where we know that people do need hospitalisation, we obviously need to make sure they're safe, and that's what our plans are in the hospital. I think back to your first question about, you know, children's services. This is one of the advantages of coming out and talking to the public, because although we're talking about some very, very specific services that we want your views and opinions on, hearing your experiences and understanding what it's like to experience all of our services, it just gives us a wealth of information. So, you know, and kind of understanding the importance of focusing not just on adults, but children as well. So thank you for those questions, Richard. I hope you got back from that what you needed.
Just on the other one that, well, Rebecca touched on it, was one of the issues that we have is we've just had an inspection, which is the SEND inspection, and one of the things that was actually touched, I don't know whether I can actually talk about this, but in the initial inspection, the things that had failed within the city was the connection with the PFA and the health offer. Preparation to adulthood and that health offer. I think mental health will be part of it. So I think there's got to be some action that is taken in redressing what are the offers that you give to children that are coming from tertiary education into adulthood, and the things that are happening when they go into the workplace.
Okay. Yeah. I'm not sure we've got the right people on the call today, Richard, to answer those specifically. But if you want to respond to that, then we can definitely get that response back to you. I'm sure that we've got contact details for you. Then we can do that.
Okay, thank you.
And Chris has put in the chat. Chris has put in the chat. Those are the people that they help. So that's Chris from the voluntary sector. So yes, just demonstrating that there are all sorts of different ways of supporting these children. But yes, we'll definitely get a specific response back to you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I can't see any more hands up, but I didn't see Richard. So if anyone can see any hands, I'm just flicking through pictures on the top, and no more questions in the chat. No. So I think Joe, shall we just move on to wrapping this up then, if everyone's come. I say that, and we've got another question from Robert here. Who does Epilepsy Action have to contact? Sorry, you didn't pick that up. So there's a website in the chat, Robert. I'm just scrolling back to find it. So the website is beinvolvedAtleicestercityccg.nhs.uk, and you know, we can definitely make contact with you there. Okay. Scrolling back down, there's another new message. Oh, and Joe's popped it in the chat for us. That's great. Thank you, Joe. Okay. So this lovely sunny afternoon, I think I'm sure people want to get out into some sunshine, not sit in front of computer screens. So, but we do thank you so much for spending some of your Saturday afternoon joining us to hear about the services that we're consulting on today. So just to reiterate how you might be able to get involved, our consultation's running from the 24th of May to the 15th of August. So if you've got friends, colleagues, or family members that you think would also like to give us their feedback on the services that we're talking about, please share with them, let them know. We've still got time to do this. There are other public engagement events as well that they can join. So finding out more about the consultation and what's proposed, the information is on our website. So that's www.greatmentalhealthllr.nhs.uk. You can telephone us. We've got a questionnaire that we'd like to people to fill in, because that gives us some structured feedback as well as this more general feedback. So you can telephone us on 0116 295 0750 if you need support to complete the questionnaire, or email beinvolved@leicestercityccg.nhs.uk and email any views at that same email address. So on behalf of Rebecca, Kelly, Sue, Joe behind the scenes, and Lindsay, really like to say thank you for joining us. The information on the screen again is to remind you if there is any need that support that you need. There's some phone numbers, but that central access point is a really key one for you. Just to say once again, yes, thank you for joining us and feeding your comments in, and they will absolutely help us understand what we need to do to shape our services going forward. Okay, so I think we're going to close it there and have a lovely afternoon.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.